So while we've got the diff out, we're going to take these drive shaft seals out, replace them, might as well. So I put some penetrating fluid on these, left them to soak last night and today. So yeah, let's, I'm just going to take them out now and try and split the casing and see what we're dealing with. Other thing that we need to get is some bearings. So the diff from Kaaz, as you'd expect, they don't normally come with bearings, so he needs to get a couple of bearings, and then we need to find a way of pressing them on. So that's going to be another task. Right. Just going to give it a few taps with a dead blow, see if it'll move. There we go. That's cracked it, look. There's a hit against here. Apart. Okay. It's walking around a little bit. Ideally, I should probably put it in the reverse. Hey. Alrighty. So just managed to split that. Took a few tippy tappies and the old dead blow. Found hitting against here and here was the best way for me to get that off. Here's inside the housing. It's a big grot, so that needs cleaning out. As I've said before, Paul's getting some new drive shaft seals, so we're replacing these bad boys. This will need a good clean inside, and also all the old sealant will need to come off here before we reassemble. On the diff side itself, we're going to be replacing all of this unit, but we need to reuse this ring gear. So we're going to take off these bolts here, these ones, and these ones, and that is the bearing cap that holds the bearing in place. On the outside, you've got these rings with teeth, and they're used to adjust how much pressure is applied, how much preload is applied onto the bearing, and that determines your backlash, and that's how much the diff rocks back and forth. You can hear that. It'll be moving back and forth by a few thousandths of an inch. We'll need to take these bolts out as well. All these do is lock this toothed ring in place. I also need to make something so we can adjust these. We'll need to take all of these bolts off and transfer this ring gear onto our new diff. And yeah, that'll be, pop everything back in, and then we'll measure our backlash using a DTI. It's a dial test indicator. But yeah, we'll set everything up best we can. So there you go, that's inside the rear diff of a NA MX5. Do a spin. Okay then, so while Paul's away getting the seals, bearings and everything else we need to complete this job, I've just been cleaning up this. As you can see, there's still a bit of silicone to get off. I'm going to get these seals out. Just been using some wire wool just to clean that. Bit of brake clean. Yeah, just make sure it's as clean as possible. Still some crap in it. You've probably seen this little trick before for getting any seals out. If you're ever trying to get any seals out that look a bit like this, they're usually quite stiff and quite difficult to crush. So just try and keep yourself set up. Set yourself up as square as you can. Watch your pops. That's how you get your seals out of your diff housing. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking off the bearing caps. That's these things here. They are sided, so what I've done is I've just used a punch, it's a spring-loaded punch, and just marked 2 dots there, 2 dots there, so that aligns. Put a little mark there. So I'll have to remove this. These are 14mm, don't know what that is, maybe a 12 or something. So yeah, we'll rattle these off. Bear in mind, I've never done this before, so it's liable to go to shit. You really want that to happen? Right then, so we can set the diff housing aside for a little bit. What we need now is this ring gear off here. So I'm just going to take all these bolts out. Ding! That's the diff with the bearings. You replace the bearings and you replace the diff. Moving on. A wild pool has appeared. Right, just cleaning off all the excess RTV sealant off the face of the diff housing. We've got our final drive here. New bearings. That's the model number. These were supplied from Buffy Racing. Old open diff. Ta-da! Who knows? Kaaz diff. What else do we have? In the box of delights. The new brackety thing. 2 of those. What else? We've got some drive shaft seals. We've got these suitably clean, or as clean as I can. Well, it's quite smooth actually. Nice. We'll crap out. A little light on it. Seem to be. Oh yeah, baby. Oh, it's going in with my fingers. That's what she said. Oh, the grease was the one. I just pushed in with my fingers. So that was quite easy. But nice.
You know what that means, though.
Next one's gonna be it. Something's gonna be it.
There's something planned, isn't there?
Yeah, something's gonna get you.
Oh, it's always got some idea.
Oh. That's it. Seal in. Yeah, buddy. Alright then guys, so in front of us we've got our open diff with our bearings as it came out of the housing. We've got our Kaaz diff here and a brand new bearing. Now normally you'd probably use a bearing press to push one of these on, and these obviously go on the same way, like that. What I've been doing is I've just been using brake clean to clean all this up to make sure it is absolutely meticulously clean. And we're going to be using this cheapo bearing tool to press the bearings on. When I say press, I mean hammer. So yeah, wish me luck with that. Oh, the amber nectar. Just put a little bit of this oil on here. Can't hurt, can it? Alright. Is it square? Oh, fucking no. Moment of truth, mate. Just as fucking hammer time.
Hammer time. Finally, this is what we've all been waiting for.
I don't know if I've been waiting for it.
Are you filming this?
Yeah.
Good.
So I'm just using the old outer race on the top. I'm going to find a suitable wigwam. That's too small, I think. Yeah. Perfect.
Job's together.
That's the bearings fitted. So we've got to take all of the old thread lock off the final drive bolt. So I'm just cleaning them up now. So Paul's cleaned up all the bolts, they look lovely now. Right then, so as per the Kaaz instructions, we've got a nice little bit of rubber here protecting the outside of the LSD. We're now going to start putting these bolts in. These two are both in dry at the moment, just to pull the final drive up home. We'll now start putting thread lock on these, just using this thread lock here, and then start tightening these up in a crisscross motion. Okay, lovely. Yeah. Tech.
Done.
Yeah, that's that. That's that then. So all of those are 60 foot-pounds. Yeehaw. Okay then, so we've got a diff with its new bearings and its final drive all bolted up. That's done now. We've somehow managed to hold the diff casing with this with these bits of wood. It's very bodged, but fuck it, it's doing the job. So the next thing to do is to drop the diff in here, and then we're going to start putting the bearing caps back on. So all of the hardware from the two sides are in these two boxes here, and they're marked up left and right. This is the left, this is the right for the purposes of this job. What we're trying to do is make sure we're lining up these threads. You see how they can move. What happens is this item here is threaded in to apply pressure onto the bearing and hold it in place. And that, it looks like it lines up there.
Yeah, you didn't even need the metal to start it off.
No. And that's flying in.
So there is a bit of it in there.
There's a bit in there now. So I guess that's a good starting point.
Get ready, everybody. He's about to do something stupid.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, gentlemen, but you seem to have me confused with a character in a fictional show.
Right then, as you would have seen at the start of the first video, I managed to snap the bolts on the bearing carrier, on the bearing cap carrier, or whatever it's called. These were the bolts. You can see they've necked and stretched, and I snapped that one. And these are the replacements, so we've got some new ones. Verdict is still out exactly as to why they snapped. A couple of theories are: one, there was still some kind of fluid or oil in the threads, but yeah, there was a little bit in there, but not loads. And the other one was like an incorrect torque setting, which I got off the internet. And yeah, the torque setting that we were using appeared to be way too much, so lesson learnt. Yeah, if you were looking for the actual torque settings, there's a really good article on Boffy Racing. I'll put it in the description below as to what the actual torque setting is, but it's nowhere near what we were using. Anyway, Paul's not here. He sent me the bolts that he's ordered, and I need to get this this MX5 out of my garage. I'm going to try and put this diff together on my own today, and I'll just leave the video running. So yeah. It's 45 there. Still moves nicely. So it's taken me quite a while to get to where we want it to be. Just mounted the DTI onto this little bit of plate here, and I'm looking for approximately 0.17 millimeters, which I believe is about 7 thou. You can see there. That's about 17 and 0.7, which is what I want. So just going to lock these off using these things. One like that. Good. Yeah, so just lock these off and bolt it down using the bolt. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Right, then next I'll be putting the housing back on, just using some of this. That's what Paul's given me. That was a clean diff housing from before. Diff housing bolts. Yeah, there's two that are longer than all the others. Can't remember if I mentioned that in the video when I took them. Those bolted up. There's a torque setting for them, but we'll check that later. Right then, YouTube. I can't remember how far I got with this this diff job. Driver's side is all back together, bolts back in, sensors back on. It is in the diff, so I need to do the same for the other side, so I'm going to do that now. It's pretty much the reverse of putting it in. Obviously you can see all the sealants sealed, these have all been done up and torqued. Power frame bolts back in, this hat collar thing is in. And it's also connected back up at that end. So that, just to show you what I did. You probably saw, but basically I guided the drive shaft in here. Once I was in the bearing, or I knew it was kind of happy, I just jacked up underneath here to compress the spring and put the bolt back in on the top arm there. Easy peasy. Check the torque settings for these. That's in, just need to torque it up in a minute, which I'll do. Now I'm just going to put this bracket back on, which goes here. So little brackets on the top, that's done. Just putting the sensor bolts back in here. Sadly, I haven't got a torque wrench that goes down to the values on these, but it's not a lot. It's probably already done, to be honest. Attach this little probe thing. Hopefully you can see that. Probably can't. Just go through the hole here. Turn your fingers to it, get the idea. So I've done these at 77, which is the minimum that Boffy Racing recommend. I need some bolts.
One fitted diff.
Welcome.
Hello.
I've literally got no balls, lads. It's killed me. Time to follow the Kaaz differential instructions. This is the first drive after the diff has been fitted. Take it easy, mate. Take it easy. So guys, we're just in the bedding in period now. Figures of 8. It's a bit weird. We're trying to stop the car from stalling. It keeps stalling, but then full arc. Do a figure of 8. Yeah, so it's, you have to do the tightest turns possible. Clutch is out. Oh, clutch is in, sorry. Yeah, like that, like that. Back here. Round. Just squeezing to Paul's car with his harnesses. I do not fit. Too much of a fat lad. So there we go. So we're just back from the braking period, doing the figure of 8s. We're now going to drain the oil, put some fresh oil in, and that's finished. And that looks like pretty clean oil compared to what came out. Do you remember the black stuff that came out the first time?
Yep.
Minging. So yeah, that's the braking oil removed from the diff. Now I'm just going to re-top it up with Kaaz flavoured oil. New drain plug with a new crush washer. Very nice. They're good. Very nice. Kaaz flavoured oil.
Where we going?
It's a bit of a mess. I could do with a pump for this, but this is all I got. Another happy customer. Oh, thank you.